Hello, everyone. This is Dave from Dave's Wreaths and Things. We are in April, and guess what we had up here in Ontario, Canada? SNOW. Yes, snow. My bulbs, the tulips, and the daffodils, they're coming up. And the other day they were covered in snow. The snow's melting now, so warmer weather coming up for us. Cross our fingers, hopefully. It's supposed to be nice next week. Nice and sunny, nice spring weather for those tulips and those daffodils really to start growing and shining with those beautiful colors. It got me thinking, I wanted to make another tulip wreath. I did make a tulip wreath last year, the year before, I can't really remember. But this time around, I wanted to make a Deco mesh tulip wreath. So for today, our little Deco mesh tulip wreath, full of color, full of tulips, full of spring. Why don't I just get started and I'll show you what I made. I'm going to be using this piece of plastic canvas, and you can see here, this is used for embroidery, so they have little holes in them, square little holes, and it is truly really flexible. So I'm going to be using this as our base today instead of a wire frame. And 6-inch Deco mesh in yellow, purple, green, blue, and pink. These come from the Dollar Tree as well, so they have kind of the same color, but I'm using my Deco mesh from Dollarama. I'm going to be using little plastic elastics along with some cable ties and this beautiful 1.5-inch wired ribbon to add our little bow. If you don't have cable ties, you can totally use pipe cleaners. That's great as well. And I'm going to be using my regular crafting utensils to create this project. I'm going to start off cutting my Deco mesh. So I have those different color Deco mesh, and today I'm actually going to be cutting them in 6-inch pieces. So the goal here is to have a 6 by 6-inch square of Deco mesh. So since the width is 6 inches, I'm going to have the length of 6 inches to create that square. And I'm just going to cut up a whole bunch of pieces of this pink color. And I'm also going to do my blue. And once I get the blue all done, cut in those 6-inch pieces, I'm going to hit the yellow and the purple as well. Once I've got those all done, the green is a little bit different because this is going to be the leaves and the stems. So I am cutting these at 10-inch lengths. So every other color that I'm using for the tulips, I'm cutting at 6-inch lengths. And for the green, I am cutting at the 10-inch lengths. So let's start making our bundles. For this one, I'm going to be using a bundle of 4. And all I'm going to be doing is turning that Deco mesh to create a little diamond shape. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that right corner to the left corner, and I'm going to create a little triangle. So here's my triangle, and then I'm going to just stretch it a little bit, give it a little pull to stretch it. I'm going to squish it right in the middle, and then I'm going to roll up that bottom corner about 2 or 3 times, and then I'm going to push that right into where my thumb and index finger are on my left hand. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the top side. Roll it in a couple of times, bring it together, hold it right in the middle, and guess what? You've just created your first little petal. And of course, it kind of looks like a spoon, if you will. So here I am just kind of showing you it looks a little bit like a spoon, and I'm eating my soup. And then once I have that all gathered, I'm just going to take the excess off, and then I'm just going to wrap one of those elastics around the base. And then we've created our first petal for this project. Of course, here we go again. We're going to lay our Deco mesh into a little bit of a triangle, bring those corners together to create a little triangle. Then just anchor it down there like I'm showing you here. And then you're going to push that center, kind of pulling it apart a little bit, just giving a little good stretch. You're going to take the bottom after you pinch the middle, and you're going to roll it 2 or 3 times. And then you're going to meet that right in the center. So just bring it together. You're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite end at the top. Roll it 2 or 3 times, and then you're going to meet it right in the center. And then you're going to create your petal or your little spoon shape, if you will. And while you're holding it there, I'm just going to cut off the excess. Now, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. It's just a little bit cleaner for me, so that's why I do it. And then we're just going to wrap that elastic right around that bottom portion. Of course, I have huge hands and using these small elastics was a little difficult, but it worked. So now we have our 2 petals all ready to create our little tulip. All we're going to do is have them face together, just like I'm showing you right here. And then I'm just going to hold it in my left hand while my right hand wraps another elastic right around that bottom, just holding those 2 petals together. Now I have done for this project, you can do them all with just 2 petals, but for me I did variations of this. So I did 2 petals, 3 petals, and 4 petals. You can see here that 1 petal. And now to do the 4 petals, you create your petals exactly the same way, but then you just bunch the 4 together. And if you want to do 3, you bunch the 3 together as well. And then you just hold them all together with that elastic, creating your little bundle and your little tulip petals. And like I mentioned earlier, I did do 3 petal bundles. I'm just showing you right here with the blue Deco mesh how I completed the 3 petal bundle. Again, we're making our petals exactly the same way, creating that little spoon shape or the petal shape. And then once that's all completed, we're just going to add them together in a little bundle, add that elastic right at the bottom, and then you created that 3 bundle little floret, if you will. One more time, we're just quickly going through how to do the little 2 petal bundle, create your petals, have them come face to face, and then that creates that 2 petal bundle. And I'm going to do them in all colors. So here I am just finishing up with some of my yellow Deco mesh to create those bundles as well. Once that's all done, we're ready for our wreath. I'm just finishing off with my purple Deco mesh as well. So again, I have the 4 different colors of the tulips and the green for all of the greenery leaves and stem. When it comes to the green Deco mesh, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay it out and then we're just going to roll this. So I'm just taking the bottom right hand corner and we're going to create a really long roll for this. So I am rolling it on an angle and that's gathering all of the Deco mesh into a tube shape. Now these are going to be our leaves and our stems. And once I've got that all rolled up, I'm just going to take another one of my elastics, just kind of really just put it right in the middle, holding that Deco mesh together, because we will actually put this onto our plastic canvas with a cable tie. But we've created our little stem here. And we're just going to roll up another one. You're just rolling it on an angle. Nothing too fancy here or too complicated. And then we are just going to add that elastic on there, creating that stem or leaf. And I'll show you later on how we do this as well. So I'm just rolling up all of those. So here are all of my pieces for the Deco mesh. For pink, purple, and yellow, I'm doing 20 pieces at 6 inches. For the blue is 16 pieces at 6 inches. I had a bundle left over that I didn't use because my canvas was all full. And then green was 16 pieces at the 10 inches as well. And we're going to bring our plastic canvas back again. And what I decided to do is just kind of bring it down a little bit. This is 10.5 by 13.5, and I didn't want it too big, so I decided to use a little triangle that's going to be 7 inches wide at the base, and then it's approximately 14 inches in length after we've cut it. So I'm measuring 7 inches and then 3.5 inches at the bottom from the end. I'm going to take my ruler and my little Sharpie, create a line, and draw a triangle. So from that 3.5 inch point to the 7 inch point, and from the 3.5 inch point to the corner, creating a triangle for our little tulip bouquet. Then I'm just going to take my scissors, cut that out. Don't get rid of those pieces. Keep those extra pieces. They come in handy down the road too when you're crafting as well. I'm always keeping everything. I mean, my craft room is so stocked and full right now. So once we have our triangle, I'm going to bring in my tulips, my green stems, and my cable ties. And I'm just going to kind of figure out where I want to place my first tulip floweret. So I'm just going to do that right at the top hand corner. And then I'm just going to get my cable tie and I'm going to feed it through one of the squares. So that's one of the open squares. I'm going to feed it through, and then I'm going to have maybe 2 or maximum 3 square space. feed it through again, and then we're going to create our little loop with our cable tie, and then we tighten it once we get that tulip end right in there, and then just cut off the excess. So again, I'm placing my tulip, grabbing that cable tie, feeding it through, and again, I'm doing maybe spacing 2, maximum 3 spaces for my tulip bulbs, because if you do too much, then it's going to pull that plastic canvas. Because that plastic canvas is so flexible, it's actually going to bend, and then you won't have a flat surface at the back. So just keep your cable ties close together, and your plastic canvas is not going to bend on you. And every now and then I am going to throw in that green leaves in there. It adds a little bit of color, a little bit of interest. And of course, look at that green against that pink deco mesh. It looks so beautiful. It's such a contrast. And I'm doing the exact same method. I'm just pulling through the cable tie, creating a little loop, cutting off the excess, and we've attached our little greenery leaves there. And I'm just kind of placing it around. And then I'm going to come back and place some more of that pink deco mesh in there using the same method. I'm doing the same method for the flowerets that I'm doing for the green deco mesh to create leaves. And of course, here I am attaching the purple deco mesh and some more greenery. And it's just going step by step. I place one floweret at the time, go to the next floweret, and of course you can see I'm working my way down our little triangle. And at the very end, I'm adding one last blue floret. And I don't use that last one. I think it's full enough here. So that's why we only have the 16 pieces for the blue deco mesh instead of the 20. And at the very end, what I want to do is I want to create stems and leaves at the very end. So at the very bottom of that triangle, I'm adding some more greenery. And then I'm going to take those stems and use the full ones. I'm not going to fold those in half like I do for the leaves. And I'm going to take 5 of them, and then I'm just going to use my cable ties to attach them right at the bottom. That's going to create that stem right at the bottom, and we're going to spread that out a little bit. And of course, I had 2 left over, so I'm like, I'm not going to throw these out. I'm going to use them. So I just did 1 on each side of our stems, folding it in half, creating more leaves just to fill up the bottom a little bit more. And so I don't have to waste those 2 pieces of deco mesh. And of course, I just love how this turned out. And y'all know I'm going to be making a bow for this. We're not done yet. If this is Dave's recent things, we have to make a bow for right at the bottom. And for that, I'm using 1.5-inch wired ribbon, and I am going to do a couple of cuts at the 14-inch mark. As well, I'm going to do 3 cuts at the 12-inch mark. Now, this is all just the same ribbon I'm going to use for this bow. I'm just cutting them at different lengths, and then I'm going to do a final cut at 5 inches. So we have 2 pieces cut at 14 inches, 3 pieces cut at 12 inches, and 1 piece cut at 5 inches to create the bow I am making today. Then all I'm going to do is I'm going to create little rings out of them. I'm going to bring in my handy dandy little stapler to create the rings. If you don't want to use a stapler, you can totally use your hot glue gun. You just put a little hot glue at the end, curl it over, and then attach those 2 pieces at the end. Now this does burn my fingers a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, so I do love using my stapler to create my bows like this, and I do this for all of my pieces, and here I am doing that 5-inch piece. Once that's all done, I'm just going to take my little ringlets. I'm going to start off with the 14 inches, do a little cross hair, and then we'll use the 12-inch pieces, cross those as well as we lay them down, and then the final 5-inch piece goes right in the center, and we're going to grab a nice long piece of pipe cleaner, put that right through the center, and then we're going to gather the center, and then you're going to twist those twist ties together. When you flip it over, it's a little flat, but that's okay because we're not done yet. And then I'm going to cut 2 pieces at 18 inches. I kind of decided I did want tails, so I cut 2 pieces at 18 inches, dovetailed those, and those are going to create 9-inch tails. So I'm just going to fold that in half, open up my pipe cleaner. We're going to squish it all together, bend it in the shape we want, and then we're going to add that to our pipe cleaner. And then we have our little bow all ready for our fluffing. And you all know we love to fluff on this channel. It is so peaceful for me. It just relaxes me. I love fluffing up my bows. And once it's all done, I just take that pipe cleaner, open it up, and attach it right around the back side, twisting it a couple of times. And then I'm just going to cut off the excess and add a little bit of hot glue so the pipe cleaner doesn't come apart. In the meantime, while that glue dries, I'm just going to take another piece of cable tie, loop it around the back, and that's going to be how we hang our little wreath. But here we go, our finishing touches and me fluffing up that bow a little bit. You know I have to do it, fluffing up those tulips. But here is our Deco Mesh tulip wreath all ready for my front door. These colors, look at the colors of this ribbon. I just love them. They scream, scream, scream spring. And of course, tulips. Nothing says spring more than colorful tulips like these ones here. Hello everyone, this is Dave from Dave's Recent Things. It was... no... wow. Already? Hello everyone. Jeez, voice cracking. And I cannot tell you how looking forward to spring I am. Wait, was that good grammar? I don't think so, David. Oh boy. Anyways, side point. And I forgot what I was going to say. Yep. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you coming along for the ride as I created this Deco Mesh tulip wreath. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.